You're listening to Parents You've Got This, the expert guide to parenthood, the complete guide to fertility, pregnancy, birth, baby and parenthood. This podcast is proudly supported by Mistela, a natural origin skincare for babies and children, recommended by healthcare professionals. Mistela by Parents' Side since 1950.
It's really common or normal for a baby to be born with a flat head or to develop a flat spot on their head, and it's called plagiocephaly. And this week on the Expert Guide to Parenthood podcast, we're going to be talking all about it. We are so excited that we have Luke Stewart, who is an orthotist at Orthokids, here to talk to us all about plagiocephaly. We're going to talk about what it is, what the treatment options are, and he's even got a few props in with us today that we're going to be looking at as well. So thank you, Luke, so much for joining us on the Expert Guide to Parenthood.
Thank you for having me.
Now, what is plagiocephaly?
So,
it's a hard word to say.
It is a hard word to say. There's actually a couple of ways you can say it.
Okay.
It is plagiocephaly, but you can say plagiocephaly, which is what I say.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically, I tell parents it's a scary word, but it just means flat spot on the head. And plagiocephaly is basically a flat spot on one side of the back, either the back right or the back left, which basically pushes everything on that side a little bit forward. So you might have a little bit of a pronounced forehead on the right side as well, and you're going to have some flattening on the left. If you'd like, I could just quickly say there's two other shapes that we look at as well. There's brachycephaly, which is flattening directly on the back. That presentation means that the baby is lying directly on the back like that, and they have a tall back of the head and a small face relative to their head size. And then there's asymmetric brachycephaly, which is a combination of plagiocephaly and brachycephaly.
What causes plagiocephaly?
So, the most common cause for plagiocephaly is how the baby is positioned in utero. So if they're stuck to one position in utero, they might be born with some flattening on the side. Afterwards, a common cause is torticollis, so tight neck muscles, and then the baby's sort of stuck to one side. And parents might not pick up on this straight away, that their baby's only looking one way. But if you leave that for a few months, you can imagine from 0 to 4 months, they're growing so much, the flattening can become quite severe.
So how would a parent prevent their baby having plagiocephaly? Obviously, you can't prevent it if it happens in utero or if you don't pick up on it like that. Are there any things that parents can do to prevent it from beginning?
Yeah. So just being aware from it. I mean, I'm not a parent myself yet, but as a parent, I can imagine there's a lot of things you're thinking about. Everything's new, but just being aware of when your baby's sleeping, just how they're positioned. So if they're looking one way all the time, just trying to reposition is the main thing. So putting toys and things on the other side of the cot so they look the other way, having your cot in one part of the room so when you enter the room they look towards you, and again this is them looking the other way from where they usually look. If they're able to look both ways, it's totally fine. If you can just keep that in mind that on the baby monitor or whatever, they're looking both ways, the head should round out quite nicely itself.
And so how is it diagnosed if your little one has plagiocephaly?
So it's, like I said, it's just being aware. Often, we have a lot of families come in and they say it's one of their family members or in-laws that say, you've got a baby, they're flat on that side sort of thing, and the parents might not pick it up right away. So noticing that there is some flat, it's usually pretty obvious, got a bit of flattening on the one side of the head. Sometimes at the 6-week checkup, maternal health nurse or a pediatrician might mention, hey, they've got a bit of flattening here, they might have some tight neck muscles. You might want to get that checked out or see a physio or chiro or osteo to work on those tight neck muscles. Yeah, and it does, if it is really tight, you're going to favour that side, aren't you? Because it can hurt to go the other way. My little son had torticollis, and you look at all his baby photos and his head's off to like a tilt, like it looks like he's like smiling like this, and then I look back now and go, oh, it was because you had torticollis at the time and it was really tight, and then we did go and get some help on his neck, and then was easy to look the other way, but it just wasn't because it was so tight. Exactly. So torticollis I would find is the main culprit that I see for plagiocephaly or brachycephaly or asymmetric, whatever head shape we see, because it's just tough. They can't move. When we have assessment with families, if they haven't already seen a physio, chiro, osteo, we can recommend, we've got plenty of physios, we can recommend pediatric physios who give them tips on how to, repositioning tips, stretching, things like that to loosen up the torticollis, And, I was going to say with torticollis as well, it's as it continues, if they're past 6 months of age and they still have pretty decent torticollis, it's unlikely that the head shape's going to improve enough from there. So on its own, because the torticollis, the head starts to firm up as they get a bit older, and if they're still stuck to one side, it's more difficult for the head shape to improve on its own. Yeah.
What else is involved in the diagnosis side of things, Luke? So at Orthokids, you've got some amazing technology that you use as well. How does all that work? Yeah,
so we have families that come in, they might book online, they find us. The first question I ask them is, how do you find us? Often it's through the physio, osteochiro. When we come in, we have a chat to the family, get some subjective information. I really enjoy it because I'm able to get to know families and hear about their journey. We use a 3D scanner, some very high-tech technology to scan the baby's head, and this gives us a very accurate representation of their head shape and gives us some scores that we very thoroughly explain to the parents and what they can expect if they don't do helmet therapy, what can they expect if they do. We look at all the different, the size of the head and everything like that. When we're looking at plagiocephaly and reshaping the head, there's a few main factors I say to the parents. There's obviously the severity of the score, of how bad the flattening is. The age of the baby is crucial. Younger the better. We can talk more about that later. How stressed the parents are. That's a big one as well. Like some parents come in, they're like, I haven't slept in 6 weeks. Just give me a helmet. That's all I think about.
Oh, because you're worried you're going to affect them long term, don't you? And what's their brain doing?
Exactly.
Or they're going to look weird. You're worried about those things.
Yeah, and I ask parents not to be anxious about making an appointment to come in, because in all honesty, we look back on our records and we only found about 30 to 40% of those initial assessments actually go with helmets. A lot of the time we're coming in and we're getting just peace of mind of where we're at and where we can go from here, and we can monitor it.
Want some extra tips to help you navigate parenthood? Join a Parents You've Got This masterclass. Visit www.parentsyouvegotthis.com.au and sign up for a masterclass today.
Yeah, so you've got a little helmet there.
Yes.
Is this part of the treatment process? Do you want to talk us through how you do treat it?
Yeah, so once we do a scan, if a family decides to go with the helmet, we like to say, our knowledge, your decision, which is, we can make a pretty informed decision whether we want to go with the helmet. Once we go with the helmet, we fit this in about 10 working days, about 2 weeks, and they wear it for about 3 months. So I've got this helmet here. It's made out of 3D printed plastic, very accurate representation of the baby's head. So how the helmet works is basically it holds the high spots of the head. If you can imagine, if they've got some flattening on the back right, we're going to hold the back left and hold the front right while the baby's head grows out of the front left and the back right. So basically it's just a very passive movement, just slowly grows into those areas. And it's a very easy helmet to use. We secure the helmet with 2 Velcro straps, and you can see we can go nice and wide when we put it on the baby's head and when we close it up. You're not going to break it. I've only ever seen one broken helmet. Someone sat on it, footy player sort of thing. So just don't sit on it, and it'll be all good. They're very strong, very durable. A lot of parents actually say they end up using them as stack helmets. We don't endorse them as stack helmets, but
they're
very cute. So we're very happy with our design. It's very low profile, very breathable, compared to some thick ones you can see online and on TV and stuff. We're very confident, very happy in them with these.
Yeah, so they don't hurt the little child?
No, so very good question. So they don't hurt. There's probably often a misconception of helmets is that they sort of squish the head into shape, and they might cause headaches and things like that. Like I said, they're very comfortable. It's an exact shape of their head. We're just gently holding the high spots while they grow into the flat areas. Yeah.
So it's almost like a mold in a way.
Exactly.
If you're pouring something in, you're just giving it the space to grow where you want it to grow into, rather than impacting the part that's already there.
That's right. So we use very high-tech, again, sort of software. Once I take the scan, I design myself or another clinician who's taken the scan. We design the helmet very accurately on a software program, so we can know to the millimeter how much we need to put in each area of the helmet. Yeah.
And then when a baby comes in to be checked, how often do they come in to see you, and what does that sort of appointment look like? Do they get a new helmet each time, or do you adjust the one?
Yeah. So
how does it work?
That's a good question. So it's not necessarily like Invisalign. Basically, how it works. It'd be very expensive if we did one every 2 weeks. But Look, yeah, all the growth, all the correction that we need is built into the one helmet. The only time we ever need to go with the second helmet is if we're coming from a very severe score. We might come down to like a medium, and then or moderate, sorry, and the parent might say, look, I really want and would like some more correction, and then we make a second helmet. But that's rare. Often we get to that point and it's like, oh wow, their head looks so much better. We're happy. We've worn it for 3 months. So yes, they come in every 4 weeks. We take a new scan and we overlay that new scan on top of the older one, and we see exactly how much change they've gotten in that month. Yeah.
Well, it's very quick, 3 months. And so do they sleep in it, like you wear it the whole time?
Yes. A lot of parents ask, why can't we just wear it at night? Isn't that when the flattening happens? That's a fair question. The problem is the head's growing all the time, and we need to capture that growth 23 hours a day so that we can grow into the areas we want. If we just wear it at night, we're going to grow in the high spots and we might get some pressure areas. So yes, 23 hours a day is how often they wear it. They offer a bath. You can stretch it out 20 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It doesn't have to be an exact hour. More time on, the better. So we like to say 23 hours, yeah.
And do you have to care for the helmet in a certain way? Does it start to smell? Or?
Yeah, so that's a problem for helmets in the past with the thick foam on the inside. We call them like sweat buckets 2000s. They're just so primitive sort of thing. These helmets, they come with a liner on the inside like this. So it's a very nice, soft, gentle cotton liner, and we give each family four liners, one that comes with it and 3 extra sets, and you're able to change it every couple of weeks, as much as you like, sort of thing, because some babies, they might throw up in there or whatever,
get pumpkin in there,
pull it out, yeah, exactly right.
They're messy little things.
Yeah, so you can keep it very hygienic. Some babies they sweat like crazy. That's just the way they're made up. So some babies are prone to eczema, so you put your eczema cream on, let it dry for a bit, put this back on, and then change the liner in a couple of weeks and use it again once it's clean. Yeah.
Great. So do you need to change anything about your child's lifestyle if they're wearing a helmet?
So not at all, really. Some parents might come in, to be honest, they might say, hey, they're not sleeping very well. And I say, did they sleep well before the helmet? Like, no, terrible sleepers. So it's not necessarily going to make them a better sleeper, but it's not going to make them worse. So it doesn't affect their disposition. You can go on exactly how you'd normally go on. It weighs next to nothing. It's about 130 grams, depending on how big the head is. So it's not going to affect tummy time or anything like that. You can still do all that stuff. It's not going to affect their milestones, developmental milestones at all. Fitting in car seats, everything. It's very low profile. So you just go on your daily things. Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that it's better to get on top of it sooner rather than later.
Yes.
When is it too late to do something about a flat spot?
Yeah, so we don't fit any helmets past 12 months. I'd say 10 months is even too late. 5 months is the best time to fit a helmet. If we can come in for an assessment at 4 months onward, that's great. Before 4 months is a bit too early because we sit them in a little bumbo and we take the scan. If they're before 4 months, they don't have the core strength to sit up. So we can prop them in from 4 months onwards and we can have a scan. We fit most of our helmets with probably between 5 and 7 months. If it's better, I always say, if they come in and they're 5 months old, they say, this is great, you're ahead of the game, because they might feel pressure to make a decision. If you come in nice and early, you can have a scan, continue repositioning for another 4 to 6 weeks if you like, and try everything you can, come back for a review, see how they've gone, and make a decision then. Whereas if you come in at 8 or 9 months, the head's grown quite a bit, and if it just puts a bit more pressure to make a decision whether you wear a helmet at that age. So earlier the better. I'd say 4 to 5 months is the best time to have an initial scan. Yeah.
Oh, look, that's so helpful. Just one last question for you. If you had one piece of advice for a parent who has just decided to get a little one for their helmet, they've just gone home, what would your first sort of piece of advice be for that family? I mean, I think as parents, we feel extra sensitive when our children aren't, are needing support of whatever kind it might be. And we also are conscious of the judgment of others and obviously wearing a helmet out and about. Are there any tips that you have for parents who are they're obviously worried about their little one, but they're also feeling the weight of the situation too.
Yeah, I mean, I try to, during the initial assessment, I do reassure parents that, look, because like I said at the start, it's a scary word, plagiocephaly, it sounds like a serious condition. It just means flat spot. It's not going to affect their brain development, anything like that, so that, it's just cosmetic. But then I say it's obviously still important that they're there, because sometimes parents feel, I'm vain because I want to get this done. It's like, no, we got braces, we got things like that. So it's something you can correct when you have the time. So if we decide to get a helmet, some parents have said they go out in public and say, did they have brain surgery or something? It's like, no, it's just a helmet to help correct their flat spot. So advice would just be, look, I haven't had many parents really complain when it's on, sort of thing. They look super cute. Every baby looks really cute. So cute. We've got blue, grey and pink. Even when we set them up in the scanner, we put this little gingham cape around them because the scanner can't pick up this color. So it's just on the screen, it's their head floating in the air sort of thing. But super cute sort of thing. My advice would just be, look, you got nothing to worry about, because a lot of parents, they do think, oh my gosh, is it going to hurt my baby or anything like that? I very much like doing helmets because it is rewarding. It's we deal with a lot of kids with obviously cerebral palsy and things like that at Orthokids and different medical conditions. With plagiocephaly and head shape assessments, I really enjoy it because it's rewarding to see them come back in, have a more rounded out shaped head, and the parents can see it on the screen and they go, oh, that's great. Really, really nice.
Yeah, they're glad that they did it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've never had a parent say, "Oh, I wish I didn't do that." This is where there's studies done that have been done. Even on this circle helmet, there's a study that's done with a company in Australia that used this helmet on 257 babies. They all had full correction. And when I say full correction, we tell parents we're not going for perfect. I mean, we've rounded out to a typical region. So. Yes, they're happy they've done it, and it's just a good experience all around, as long as they're wearing it 23 hours a day. Yeah.
A huge thanks to Mistela for sponsoring this episode. When we become parents, we welcome any tips and tricks that can make our lives easier. With Mistela's skincare range, you can have peace of mind knowing that they're specially formulated to be suitable from birth for babies and children. Each Mistela product undergoes 450 safety tests and measures, and is dermatologist and paediatrician tested. Mistela is our family's favourite.
Well, thank you so much, Luke, for coming on to talk to us all about having flat spots. So parents, don't ever worry about seeking help. It's the best thing that you can do for your little one, and you are their advocate. So do seek out help if you need it. And if you need some advice on parenting, well, check out our incredible library of episodes. We've got over 100 now. So you've been listening to the Expert Guide to Parenthood podcast. And never forget, parents, you've got this.
Join a Parents You've Got This masterclass today to be prepared, excited and educated for pregnancy, birth, baby and parenthood. Visit www.parentsyouvegotthis.com.au and sign up for a masterclass today.
The information provided in this podcast is general in nature and is intended to support, not replace, a discussion with your doctor or healthcare professional. Parents You've Got This take no responsibility for any medical decisions made by individuals based on the information provided in this podcast.